So welcome everybody. My name's Sarah Toon from Access Sports. I'm Access Sports Delivery Development Manager. I'm also a social impact BMX coach and a hub activator. Bexley Bike Hub being one of the hubs that I'm assigned to. We also have John Scripps from London Borough Bexley, Aisha from Access Sport as well, who'll be taking people's questions that you can send to us. And please feel free to ask questions. There's going to be 3 opportunities to ask questions throughout. This presentation is going to be set up who Access Sport are and why we are going to be supporting Bexley to put this hub in place. Then we're going to ask you have an opportunity to ask some questions about that. Then there'll also be a whole section where Tom from Velo Solutions will talk about the track and construction, and then there'll be an opportunity to ask questions then. And then also the last part will be about how we can how the community and the Borough of Bexley can make the most, apologies for noise in the background, of this beautiful facility that will be in place very soon. So you can do that on the Q&A function on your Zoom. Keep it open at all times so you can see different questions that are coming up throughout. Yes, we have Aisha who's going to be in charge of that. She's going to be monitoring that. And then we have Tom from Velo Solutions, who are the track builders. Yep, so let's go straight in. And that was that slide. So, as I've said before, I'm from Access Sport. We are a national sports inclusion charity. So basically we create opportunities for those who may not have the opportunity to take part in sport, so underrepresented groups. Also, we believe that sport plays a really important role in people's health and well-being and helping to build stronger communities. And also we want to make sure that everybody gets a chance. We have 4 programs: cycling, disability inclusion, youth development, and our volunteer Team 100. And that cycling is a really big part. We're part of the cycling team, and we believe that it has a vital role to play and can be enjoyed by everybody. And confidence and on a bike can lead to a lifetime of cycling fun and freedom. So to help make this happen, we build and develop a community cycling hub like the one that's going to be built in Bexley. We help develop community clubs, so we will be, as part of the work that we do in Bexley, is to bring the community together to set up a community club. And we also build, equip and upskill local sports clubs, and that includes multi-sports clubs as well across the country. And we train and support volunteer coaches and hub helpers as well. Okay, so sorry, the panel here, let me just see if I can move us. Sorry, I'm just going to move you all the way down there. Apologies. Oh, there we go, that's better. So so you can just see here on this slide some of the things that we've been able to do in the last year, so 2019, 2020, reaching a variety of audiences. We do work with people that have previously been inactive. We're very, very strong on health and well-being, and 83% of the young people that we worked with last year or this year said that they wanted to do more activity or sport than before. We're also we work in developing young people, so we have something called a youth board. We do targeted outreach. And last year we worked in 183 different schools and special schools and pupil referral units. We're also building networks across the country with a disability inclusion sports as well as cycling. And we are currently working with clubs in 9 of the 12 British cycling regions. That's us. So we're part of the Making TRAX programme, which is a cycling programme from Access Sport. And we basically want to make cycling just part of everyday life for everybody. So something that young people do, that all those So people with disabilities and women, girls, all take part, and diverse communities as well, all take part in cycling and enjoy it. What we do, the work that we do, we also want to share with other people. So we do training as well, and we sort of collect data, and we work out different ways of working with different audiences and engaging different people. So what we do in our team is we build and we develop inclusive community cycling hubs like the one at Bexley. So we build the facility and activate it on the ground. We also deliver and support local service providers to deliver community outreach, which is where, like, we go to schools, or schools come will come to the hub, also youth groups, any community group as well. And also we develop community cycling clubs by recruiting volunteers and people anybody that will help out essentially from the community. So obviously we've all been in a lockdown, and health and wellbeing has been affected by COVID. However, what has come out of COVID, that's sort of related to us, is the benefits of cycling have been greatly highlighted, so that it's a safe and healthy way of getting around. It also improves, it's one way we can do our exercise, and it improves physical and mental health, and is great on the environment as well. There has been detailed significant growth in cycling during the COVID crisis. Many people have dusted off their bikes that maybe were in the house somewhere or in the garage and have come back out, as well as a lot more people just taking part in cycling. Now, something that we noticed at the TRAX that we already have, I'm just going to move us over here, is, we have seen a significant increase in cycling activity on some of the tracks that we've already built. So, and where we have electronic counters. So Hartcliffe is a track that's in the top 1% of deprived area in Bristol, and Croydon as well, and Hackney. But there was as I've already said, 300% increase in use. So you can see from this graph, here, in this graph here, this massive increase in use. So when we were able to go out, when the lockdown was lifted slightly, people just got down to the tracks and used them. So you can see it's really of a great benefit to local communities. Okay, so John, let me just put this down here.
Good afternoon. Okay, so thank you, Sarah. So based on everything that Sarah said so far, the question is, why is Bexley a good candidate essentially for a pump track in the borough? And as you can see from this slide, it's all about trying to encourage increases in physical activity. Currently, Bexley scores quite low in terms of physical activity levels for both children and adults, and as a result, our obesity levels in the borough are quite high in comparison to other boroughs in London and other boroughs in the country. So facilities like a pump track definitely provide an outlet for people to start becoming active. And one thing that Sarah's already said is that they can serve to be a facility for people to gain confidence in cycling in a safe, traffic-free environment, and before perhaps taking to the road and doing cycling on the highway. So having this facility, there is no current off-road cycling facility in Bexley at the moment. Our nearest facilities are in Greenwich and in Gravesend. So it's going to be a good local facility for people within the borough to access. Can you swap them to the next slide, please, Sarah? So why Martin's Grove specifically? So at the moment, Martin's Grove, for those of you that know it nearby, has 2 abandoned tennis courts on the location, and so it's looking a little bit sorry for itself. So it's an ideal location to put a brand new facility on that space, and make a lot more positive use out of that facility. Martin's Grove is sandwiched between Crayford and Bexleyheath, so there's a lot of population that can potentially access the facility from a local area, so they can walk or ride to the facility to access it. And for residents and young people in local to Martin's Grove on the local streets, they can get to the site very quickly and easily. It's also surrounded by a number of schools across the area. With the program that will be in place through the Making TRAX program, it will be an ideal location for those schools to walk to the facility, so not having issues such as getting coaches or minibuses to a site for physical activity. A lot of these schools could actually just walk to the site and gain benefit from it. Next slide, please. Okay, so this slide just shows you an example. Really, these photos were taken during a consultation that took place back in 2018, when we were originally looking at setting up the program and building the track. And as you can see, the 2 tennis courts there don't really look like tennis courts now on the left-hand side. So that's the area where the pump track part of the project will be. But this is very much not just a BMX pump track. So the ball court that you can see on the right-hand side will also double up as a generic cycle skills area for people to ride. But Tom has more detail on the design, which I believe he's going to talk about now. So thank you very much.
So thanks, John. So what we will do now is have give people the opportunity to ask questions at this stage before Tom gives us more information about the actual site and the construction details. So Aisha, do you have any questions from the...
We do have one. Okay. So one of the questions that we got in previously was, there seems to be quite a big BMX focus, and I was just wondering if you could explain why that is.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, I'll take this one. Yeah, so the thing about BMX is it's very versatile, meaning that it can be done, well, it is done sort of off road, and sort of grows skills very quickly. So the whole body is activated on a BMX because you are standing up, you're not sitting down, and because the bike is small, you can do kind of very technical things. So it's great. It's a great way to build skills and confidence, and it is still perceived as a cool sport. So we want to attract young people, and that is something BMX seems to just really work. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, John.
Yeah, I think it's also worth emphasising that despite it being a BMX pump track, with as I mentioned on that slide, for the pump ball court area, there will be some markings on there that will be able to teach things like road safety and and core bike riding skills. So yes, whilst there is a focus on BMX, that BMX can serve as a requisite for other generic cycling skills, which will help people in terms of riding on the road and riding on and generally riding their bike for leisure.
Yeah, sorry, I did accidentally click to the next slide, but we'll still take some questions because I can see they popped up.
Okay, the next question is, how will the site be sustainable in terms of activities and facilitate upkeep?
Okay, so John, I'm just wondering if we can save that question towards the end when we've done the presentation around. So yeah, we are going to talk about that at on the third section of the presentation. So we'll hold that thought and hopefully your questions will be answered by the slides that we talked to with that. Anything else, Aisha? It's
Yep.
not kind of jumping ahead too much yet.
There's another one.
Good
So,
question though.
do the children need to book? So someone's mentioned, my son is 12 and currently has to go all the way to Dartford Heath. So I know he would use it a lot. Does he just rock up with friends?
I could take that one, Sarah, if you like. No is the short answer. They wouldn't need to necessarily book onto activities. The hub of the site will have a club there, so those volunteers will very much lead on how they run that club. But it's not anticipated that children would book to take part. They could just turn up and ride it when the club's not using it. So it's intended to be open outside of club and school hours. And so, yeah, it's they can just come along and ride when they're not, when there aren't club sessions. But at the same time, we're intending that it's a very much open access club that people can just get involved with.
Yeah. But the site is, like you say, open access. Anybody can come along at any time, or when the park is open, and use the track. Any other questions, Aisha?
We've got some in the chat, so you may have answered this already, but will local clubs also have the opportunity to use this facility for their youth section?
So we will get to that. But I'm loving the questions. I'm loving the questions. Shall we just take this opportunity to let Tom speak more about the actual facility, and then we'll take some more questions and hopefully some more answers will be given from Tom. Thanks, Tom.
Great, thanks, Sarah. Yeah, so I'm Tom from the contractors, Vela Solutions. We specialise in building building bike tracks, and have done for over a decade now. So I'll be able to answer any questions that people might have in terms of the design and makeup and construction phase. Yeah, first of all, the main pump track area is a full asphalt area that reduces the maintenance for the parks, and it also means that outside of riding the track in a single loop, there's a sort of element of freestyle use to it as well. So you'll be able to keep doing some laps or choose when it's a bit quieter to take some different routes. And the track itself will be more advanced through one section and less advanced through the other, but the track will be flowing, a flowing asphalt surface throughout, so there'll be no gaps to make or anything that will be beyond a beginner user. But as you get faster, you'll be able to do more jumps or do it or make the track a bit more quickly. So yeah, really exciting layout actually. Yeah, it's symmetrical. So if you were to start in the opposite directions in the middle there, you could race and see when you get back to the start together. There's large areas to observe riders going around, and the red lines you can see there are road paint, and it helps guide you, especially in the full asphalt area. Helps guide you around the track. And if you've seen any of our tracks, we will always have some red lines, and there might be some other colours as well. We're going to we're going to have blue lines through the second half, through the more intermediate section, and red to denote the more advanced section. But as I say, everything will be rolling anyway. Bikeability zone, yeah, or British Cycling have brought out a learn to ride curriculum, which is just people starting to learn to ride their bikes, and there'll be some road safety possible on that too. So you can get to grips with the sort of road layout, and there's a few markings that show balancing skills and pedaling skills. So we'll cover that on the middle section, and then on the entrance section is the skills zone for BMX start and berm and pump rollers. So being able to practice all those things individually, and then obviously looking to put those into use at a larger scale BMX track at any point, and that'll be able to be taking place next to the container and where people can do it outside of the pump track area. Yeah, it's accessible and inclusive for all ages and abilities. That's absolutely true. Any age, any wheel sport for that matter. Doesn't have to be a BMX, and everyone's going to be free to use it. It's in the park, and yeah, everyone will be able to access it. Yeah, so just looking at the other amenities on site, we've got the site storage facility for the equipment for the community club. So that's a shipping container that we'll put in there, which has been at many other of the access sport tracks. So that'll be permanently on site to house all of those, and also the start gates, which will get brought out for sessions. Modification of the access path and removal of steps. So there's a paved footpath up to the moment with some steps in it, which are no good for wheelchairs or anyone even looking to pedal up there. So that'll be reduced into a slope and given an easy gradient and resurfaced. Pedestrian chicanes, yeah, specifically coming down from the south of the site, just so you're not entering too fast into people using the path down below. Signage, yeah, I mean the painted lines will provide signage on all three areas, and the track itself will have a sign which will show some instruction. New fencing, yeah, there's new green twin mesh metal fencing, which will be going around 3 meters high, as is on most of the track already, and a new 3 meter section on the site closest to the entrance, and a 3 meter high gate as well. Integrated drainage, well, yeah, the drains will be small metal gully grids that will drain towards the outside, so there won't be an issue there of any standing water. And traffic counters, yeah, so there's as Access Sport have put in at some other tracks, they're obviously getting data from users going in and out, and this is easy in the fact that there's going to be one point of access, and it'll show the trends of busier and quieter times and be able to be compared and looked on. Additional parking not being required, yeah, I mean we're intending for lots of people to be cycling there, so and local people walking in with scooters and, as I say, all wheel sports. Yeah, here's a couple of examples of the kind of thing. So that's 2 examples of full asphalt areas. Shows the red lines and the bermed corners. Each of those tracks has a route to follow, but can be ridden on like a skate park as well when it's a bit quieter. So yeah, just an example there of a couple we've done so far. Construction wise, yeah, this might answer a couple of questions as well. Start date, we're looking at Tuesday 1st of September, which is less than a month away. Duration 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, I mean I got no worries about that. Hours of work 7:30 till 5:30 we'd like to work, yeah, and it'll be through various phases. We quite quickly come it's quite there's not a lot to see at the beginning. A lot of it's to do with access and drainage, and then we start coming out the ground and surfacing, and that's when it really starts to gain a lot of speed. Access wise, we're looking to come off Martens Avenue and ground protection aluminium trackway, which is much like festival access or something like that, which would allow HGV access into the park at a entrance that was off the road, so that we're not, well, firstly it'd be difficult to fit on the current pathways, but it also means that we're out of the way of users going in and out of the park, and there's only the sort of roundabout area in the middle there where we would need to be interacting with pedestrians coming through the park. So it kind of keeps things a bit safer and less disruptive than if we were to be using one of the entrance points. And that trackway goes all the way up into the into the site area, so there shouldn't be any interaction other than the wagons driving through the park. There shouldn't be any interaction at all, and the site will be the area will be fenced anyway.
Thanks, Tom. That's brilliant.
No worries.
So this is another opportunity for people to ask questions if you haven't already. I could see that the question and answer box was popping up every so often. So Aisha, could you let us know what people are thinking and asking and stuff?
So we've got a question for Tom. How will the contractors access the site for the build, as it's only accessible at present via footpath? When the track is built, will the footpath be split into a cycle lane and a walking lane?
Well, I think I've gone some way to answering the access question. As I say, yeah, so we won't be using those footpaths other than that roundabout area, if I can call it that, in the centre. Access into the park with your bike, I might have to ask John about that, but I mean the access, the pathway will be adapted to out of those steps, so it will allow bike access to the court area along the current asphalt paths, I would imagine.
Yeah, so the existing access paths are being kept open. The area where the site is, where the red line on that diagram that you can see there is essentially all fenced, so that there's separation between the site and the park, so people can use the park. And you can't quite see it very easily at the roundabout section of that diagram, but there's some pedestrian gates, so that there's controlled access, safe access from one side to the other in that diagram. So yeah, there is separation between on the site. When the facility's in use, the chicanes are in place to slow the cyclists down, so that there's conflict between cyclists and walkers, shall we say. So yeah, those measures are in place. We anticipate that most people will access via those two entrances, and the access on Martens Avenue is much wider, so that provides some separation between walkers and cyclists in that space.
Thank you. Another question, can road bikes be used on the track?
From a pump track point of view, a road bike isn't ideal for the pump track side of it, but for the hub area on the other side, which will just be a flat piece of tarmac with markings, then yes, we could use road bikes if someone wanted to learn to ride a bike on a road bike. It's not a very big space, so you'd soon run out of space in terms of speed, but it would be great little space for people to learn to ride a bike, and a road bike would be entirely suitable for that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Sarah, this might be a question for you, but will these slides be available following the presentation?
Yes, so what I didn't say at the beginning, I should have said, if you have said yes, that you are happy to be contacted by Access Sport, then I can send, I'm going to send to all those that have expressed interest and have signed up for this webinar, all of those that said yes, they're happy for Access Sport to communicate with them, I can send you the slides, or I will be sending out the slides. If you did say no, but you do want a set of the slides, get in touch with me. So I'm Sarah Toone, and I will get them sent to you. We are also recording this as well, so we will send the link to the YouTube page so that you can sort of share that and maybe have a look through that as well.
I think there is one more question I think we may have missed, Sarah, that might be worth answering, from Cliff. So is the area going to be locked when not in use, or will it be open 24/7? And the answer is it's not going to be locked. We're not, at the moment, we're not locking any parks in Bexley. So the intention is to keep the doors unlocked. We didn't want to create any issues with potential of people climbing over. One question that's been asked is about lighting. So the intention is not to have light in there either. So the idea, it'd be quite dark down there, it'd be potentially difficult for people to ride it in the dark anyway. So we're anticipating that people won't use it in the dark, and so there won't necessarily be a need to lock it.
Thanks, John. Aisha, were there any more?
Yep, there's one more question.
Okay.
So when the site is completed and up and running, how are you dealing with the emergency access to the site?
So from the point of view of the access, you be able to. There's a gate at the Martens Avenue entrance that you can see alongside the site route at the moment on the slide that we can see. So ambulance would potentially be able to get down to there. We're also the path is being made accessible between say the roundabout and the site. So there's so that would be a round access all the way along. So emergency services would be able to get a lot closer to the site if needed for first aid or for taking people to hospital.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. And see
Thank
more
you.
questions.
Just some positive feedback. This all sounds and looks really good for the community. Well done, everyone.
Oh, brilliant. That's good to hear.
That's great. Thank you, Cliff.
Yeah. Okay.
Another question's just come in.
Yeah.
Will there be any toilet facilities at this track?
No, there won't be any toilets, unfortunately.
Okay.
Those are the questions for now.
Thank you. We'll go on to the next slide. Sorry, just let me just move us out the way. So hub activation. So one of the questions was about how what are the plans for the track when it's built, for the hub when it's built, and the plans are so Access Sport as a team. We are we'll be working when the track is built and we get going, sort of delivering outreach, etc. We will be working at the site for approximately 1 year with the community and the council to activate and hand over the hub. So we'll be promoting the hub. That's already started. There's a Facebook page, and the advertising it will be around different things that are going on there and things that we want to encourage people to do, but also the casual use that we've been describing. So people just coming along and using the site. To support the hub, we anticipate, or we plan to form the hub's community bike collective, which will be a group of local people. So those that will be using the site, whether they'll be part of the club or people that are local and sort of, you know, walk through the park, might just sort of keep a little eye on the hub, to anybody that's interested, so groups and community groups that are interested in doing stuff down there, as well as the schools. We will be setting up and delivering targeted outreach that I'm going to sort of come on to describe a bit more. And part of the work that we'll be doing with the Community Bike Collective is inviting local service providers and groups to utilise the hub. We have developed a few we call them products, but they're diversity sessions. So Wings is inclusive cycling, BM Exercise is BMX specifically for women, and WOW, which is Women on Wheels, which is so those that are learning to ride and building confidence as well. So we would hope to set those sessions up there and have the local people sort of take them over, as it were, and keep delivering them. And also part of that will be finding people in the community to come together to develop and activate a community bike club based at the hub. Tom did mention the container. That container will have equipment, and that's what the club will use. So I wasn't expecting us to be on the page, but just so that you've got an idea of what I'm talking about, is we developed this sort of timetable that takes in the seasons, so the daylight hours really, and the best times of the day to run activities. So if you see like the green, That's really when it's ideal to have like open track time. So when most people will be about. This was developed before COVID, but I kind of feel that things are getting back to more this kind of level, as it were. So you know, when the schools go back and the kids go back, obviously when they're at school, that's a good time to have organised sessions, school sessions particularly. But then after school would be great to have the track open access for people to ride when they want to. So I hope you can sort of get an idea of what that could look like for the track. So what we do is we will be, and we've already started working with some of the local schools, going into the schools and getting them to you know, teach to ride and to develop specifically BMX skills as well. But we go into schools with our 12-week outreach program. We go to all schools, so primary, secondary. We also work with at-risk youth and those with special educational needs. We particularly ask for groups of young people who maybe won't have a chance to ride a bike, don't have their own bikes, or have never had a chance to ride, or underrepresented groups like those with disabilities, and also girls as well. And that's a 12-week program. As a social impact coach, I actually deliver those as well. So I should be doing some work at the track myself, which I'm really looking forward to. The other thing is, so in collaboration with the Community Bike Collective, we will be promoting the casual use of the track to local service providers and groups. So we would want schools, if schools have got bikes and they want to go down and ride, by all means go and use the facility. Obviously we want to sort of have a bit of a calendar so that people don't sort of clash, but we would love that to happen. Also invite and support local service providers and groups to deliver cycling. So if there's anybody out there that is a group, would like to bring your group down, would like to use the equipment as well at the track that we have, then we're happy for that to happen. We would want that to be part of the Community Bike Collective, and we would invite you to join that collective as well. Yeah, so that's that. With the community club, we would, as I've sort of mentioned before, that would be overseen by the sort of the larger group of people, but specifically running regular club sessions run by voluntary helpers. We believe will create a key local resource, and as sort of John mentioned, it's a good place for people to come down and to learn how to ride the track. We do equip the container with a set of bikes, a set of helmets. Because of COVID, I don't know what's going to happen if we are just going to. We normally supply pads and stuff like that, but probably we will, and they'll be able to be used maybe in the future when we've got all clear on COVID. But we would hope that the club would run with a small fee to people, but would grow and develop like other clubs have in London and out of London, to be sustainable. The ways that people can get involved. So if you yourself are not wanting to get involved, that's fine. But if you know of anybody that's local that you think might be interested, we would love you to join us. So joining the community collective. So that's even just if you've got ideas or contacts or you know, financial experience, we would love you to come and, you know, get in touch. People, responsible key holders, so those that would have access to the secure container. So people that are happy, I mean, really that's people that would be running their own sessions, so a local scouts group, or maybe the school that's very, very close, May Place school that's very close, they might want to do that as well. If you are interested specifically in the club, then let us know. We do look for like technical helpers, but also just general helpers as well. And one of those people could be somebody that's not necessarily technical or knows anything about cycling, but would like to support the community to be healthier and more physically active. So the sort of role that you might have would be a responsible key holder that would open up, but you would we'd hope get together some people with some technical help that would be able to help the riders. Obviously, if you do help, it all is all helpful in developing your own skills and experience. we're really, really hot on engaging the young people in the community. So what we expect is that there will be a lot of people that will generally be down there, probably a lot. So part of my job will be to engage those young people and draw them into the club and get some sort of more formalised skills. But yeah. So questions before we finish up?
Okay, there's one question. My daughter attends May Place Primary School. Will her school be taught how to use the TRAX?
Yeah, so actually the Parent Teacher Association have got in touch with us about the school getting involved. So yeah, I can't see why not, as long as, yeah, I mean, what we're saying to, if anybody does have children or knows people at the schools, get in touch with them or get in touch with us, and we can start booking things in, because that's really how it happens. Because we will go out and connect with the community, but sometimes we just, you know, people with, you know, got a lot of things going on and might not sort of see our email or what have you. So that would be really helpful. Any other questions?
None as of yet, but I know that we skipped over a question earlier.
Okay.
You may have answered it, but will local clubs have the opportunity to use the facility for their youth section?
Yes, definitely. So whoever said that, please get in touch, and we can sort something out. Like I say, if you are going to be using the hub and the equipment, then we would ask you to become part of the community collective, because obviously we want groups that are using it to work together to get the most out of the hub. No other questions?
That's it for now.
No? Lovely. Okay. So, final word. Sorry, I don't want to move us just in case I click and that's the end. What we'd really appreciate is anybody that has joined us today, and we really appreciate you joining us today. But if you are watching on YouTube, is to spread the word so you can promote this webinar, and also join the Bexley Bike Club Facebook and Instagram pages. Also, get in touch to find out more about organised hub use, like the last question that Aisha asked, and voluntary helping for the Community Bike Collective, including any community partners who want to utilise the hub. Those specifically interested in supporting the community club, definitely we want to hear from you. And also we are going to run a voluntary helper webinar at the end of the month. So that's same time, Thursday the 27th of August. We would also encourage you to, and anybody that you know that you think would benefit from it, is to come to our live weekly online virtual club fitness sessions. So we run these club fitness sessions called BMX Fit. I will move us so you can see. BMX Fit. I'm actually going to be running the one on the 24th. I do yoga online. So I'll be doing a yoga session on the 24th, but please join us. We also have some online coaching videos. So during the lockdown, we curated some different things that were online, sort of coaching stuff that was online. So there's a link there that you can click when I send you your email, and you can have access to online training videos. Aisha, any questions? I feel like one flashed up.
Yeah, we've got a couple. So BMX Fit sounds really, really interesting. Is that something that anyone can just sign up for?
Yes, it is. Yeah. I mean, it is a kind of a closed group. So it's a bit like this webinar, you'll be sort of clicked in and communicated with. And yeah, but it's pretty closely monitored as well, the way that we do it. But anyone is able to join. Any other questions?
Yep, got one more. Are we linked with Bexley Bike Shop in Bexleyheath?
Yes, I've spoken to them a few times. Love those guys. I did see a lady there as well I have not met before the other day, but yes, we are linked with those guys. Yeah, I look forward to working with them.
We have contact with all of the local bike shops in Bexley, so there's Wheelies and Whites as well. So we've got links with all of those.
Yeah. Any more, Aisha?
None as of yet.
No. Okay, so oh, we're really early, which is fine. So really this is it. This is the end of the webinar. We thank anybody that's here. Really appreciate you listening to us, and any questions please do send to myself or John. I'm just going to put the last slide up. Oh dear. Sorry. Okay, to move on. But
Thank you, Sarah. I'd just like to add, if anybody does know of anyone that can perhaps not access anything electronic, so they may be struggling with webinar or with indeed YouTube, they can get in touch with either one of us to access hard copies of the webinar. So yeah, if you ask them to get in touch or help them get in touch, we can get arrange for something hard copy to go out to them.
Brilliant, thank you, John. I think just one final call out for questions, because I wouldn't want to miss, and then if there aren't any, then we'll say goodbye and thank you. Aisha, any more questions?
Just checking now.
So the questions we will also, so what I'll be sending people that have said that they're happy to receive information from Access Sport is a copy of the presentation and a question and answers sheet from today's webinar as well. Yeah, no?
No questions.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. Thank you, Sarah.
Appreciate it. Thank you, John.
And
Thanks so much, Tom, as well.
Thank you.
And Aisha for being our question and answers lady. And thank you, everybody. Lovely to see a little great thank you from yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cheers, everyone.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.